business. Ghana is not significantly boosting cocoa production due to factors such as illegal mining in Galamsey, aging cocoa farms, deforestation, climate change, and smuggling of cocoa beans. These factors, combined with low producer prices and non-adoption of modern farming practices, reduce yields and discourage farmers, hindering efforts to increase overall outputs. And economist Mr. William Savary believes that leveraging Ghana's population of 34 million can finally cement Ghana's position as the world leading producer of cocoa. He joins us via Zoom for a conversation on this issue. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on News Hour.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Hope you also good. Well, first of all, may I know, in your opinion, how can Ghana boost her cocoa production?
Oh, I have been coming to Ghana now for the last 15 years, and I have no.
So we're trying to connect through to Mr. William Savary, who is an economist, to talk about the issue of boosting cocoa production in Ghana as issues of illegal mining that we better know here in Ghana as Galamsey, and deforestation is hampering the overall output of cocoa production in Ghana. Let's see whether we have him on the line again. Good afternoon, sir.
If you assume that about of those 6 million, about roughly 3 million people own their property, and if you were to plant 3 cocoa trees in at the individual level, that you have potentially 18 million cocoa trees in the country. Now, one cocoa tree, it's about the yield per acre for cocoa. Potentially will give production with affecting the all scale. That's the first question. Can that be done? Yes. What does it take to do that? It requires that there are distribution of cocoa trees throughout the country to families so that they can have a cocoa tree in their backyard. Some families could have 3, 4, 5 cocoa trees. I have had the experience of meeting a couple individuals who have cocoa trees in their backyard, and one of them is a chocolate. She in her backyard, and a lot of the chocolate beans she uses to manufacture her chocolate come from her backyard. That's an issue. Secondly, we have Ghana engaged itself in cocoa plantation. Cocoa plantation is an avenue that can be exploited to increase production, because again, if you take about yield per acre calculations of 10,000 acres of land will give you roughly about 4,000 tons, 2,000 tons of cocoa at the rate of 400 pound per acre. So if you want to increase the production, it's really a multiple of acres of land under cultivation. Those are in terms of increasing the production of cocoa. Now, the other question that we need to ask, there are currently efforts in Nigeria to put into work about 50,000 acres of land for the production of cocoa. And they are backed up by capital, private capital and state capital. Now, and there are currently efforts in Israel to also grow cocoa. And cocoa, therefore, as a commodity that requires land, sun, and water, and fertilizers, is really there is a very low entry point as far as production of cocoa beans. So competition for Ghana is going to be increasing over time. And as a result, Ghana's productions in in cocoa, if it's not taken care of today, may be unsustainable. The other issue that is very crucial to me, and this is what I observe in my trips to Ghana, is that your population grows at a rate of 1.5 to 2.5% a year. In about 60 years or 30 years, the population in Ghana will double. You will have about 60 million or so individuals in the country without a corresponding increase in land of national territory, because you only have about 110,000 kilometers square, and that will not increase over time unless you go to war and conquer territories next door. But assuming that there is no such thing, 60 million people on the existing infrastructure could create such tension that you may have warfare among the national unity may be threatened, because each ethnic group will fight to get a bigger share of the lot that is existing. That be opening the doors for outside interference to undo the unity of them. Ghana, therefore, in my opinion, has two commodities that are currently trading at the highest level: gold and cocoa. Those two commodities should be used and leveraged, or the revenues from those commodities should be used and leveraged to prepare for the next 100 years, to prepare for the infrastructure to provide services to the increased population, provide wood, provide electricity, provide school, provide healthcare. Otherwise, the unity of the nation could be threatened. And in my opinion, this is the direction I think the cocoa production should provide to Ghana. It's really a way of using both cocoa and gold as leverage to prepare for the next 60 to 100 years.
So based on what you've said, right, and there are issues like Galamsey deforestation, what then happens? And with the opinions that you've provided, how do we then sustain such opinions you've outlined? And what cost would that be to the nation?
I'm glad you asked that question, because the Galamsey issue, remember, people always do what is in their best interest. The people who are currently using mining illegally, using mercury, using cyanide to extract the gold, in their opinion, this is in their bare interest. They are not looking at the interest of the nation. Interest of the nation is a function of the politicians. Those of us who are what they call the think tank, to think of 50, 20 years down the road, what the country will be like. Now, if the land where cocoa farming takes place has gold, the tendency of all the people who are in cocoa farming is to go towards the gold, because that's where the added value is. Now, how does government react to that? Government can either implement policies that will stop Galamsey. Therefore, you either have to provide the people with alternative to extract the gold, because you will not be able to stop that, because people, remember, always behave in what is in their best interest. So the government can choose to either use force to stop Galamsey. Number two, provide alternative to the extraction of the gold. Third, government can provide, perhaps can think about moving cocoa farming from the land where there is gold to other types of land, and use the land where there is gold and extract the gold under government regulations and enrich the nation through the gold, because currently gold prices are high and cocoa prices are high. Those are two commodities that are providing you with the basis to use leverage to increase national wealth, to increase production, and to prepare for the future. So the issue is not so much what do you do with Galamsey. The issue is, what is the thinking? Do you reallocate the land and put it under government control or government management to provide, if you want, support for the people who currently own the land, so that the land can be best used for the best interest, and where does it yield the most? How do you get the maximum out of the land? Is it using gold or is it using cocoa? And that's a question, that's the arbitrage the government, through government policy, has to make.
Well, you're talking about this policy, but an information here, cocoa is a type of crop that grows well in certain areas. So if it grows well in certain areas, and these are the same areas that the galamseyers, as it is called, are also abusing, then there is much more to be done. It doesn't look as easy as we're looking at things, is it?
No, it is not easy. This is a question of arbitrage. Where do you get the most value? Do you get the most value by farming cocoa, or do you get the most value by exploiting the gold? And the value you get from either one, how do you leverage it into something else? Because the whole issue is not so much what do you do today with gold, what do you do today with cocoa. The whole issue is how do you leverage what you have today so that 10, 20, 30 years from today, Ghana still has wealth, can provide to the increased population, can decrease the pressure, can lower inflation, can provide economic growth and create abundance and prosperity for the country. That is the issue. How do you leverage? What do you leverage? How do we exploit? Where is the arbitrage?
Sure, Mr. William Saria.